metal beams delivery to the number 2 damage section in Zherbai Quarries. Hello everybody and welcome back to another exciting episode of SnowRunner here at OpenFed Gaming. I am the OpenFed. After our last job, dispatch gave me a message to come back to the metal factory and pick up another couple of loads of metal beams right over here by the loading deck to go and deliver to the number 2 damage section. We're still working on the Ruptured Artery task, which is part of the KAZ Minerals PLC contract. And we are on the map of Zherbai Quarries in the Almaty region. The only map, I might add. Now we want to go and deliver these 2 metal beams, which is the first part of this particular section of the job. Then we got to go get a couple of service spare parts to finish the job. But first things first, we got to get out of the metalworks parking lot here. Now normally to the number 1 damage section, if you wanted to reach that, we would go right, but here we're going to go left. Now we managed to get out of there all right, seemed to be okay. However, this bus stop sign was a little bit too close to the side of the road, so I had to run it over. I think I've done that twice now in my ways of coming out of there with a long truck like this. Anyhow, we're off on our way towards the city, which is north of the metalworks factory, and so is the warehouse and the garage. But before we get to the warehouse, we're going to turn off left and do a little bit of four-wheeling. Now, this truck holds 4 cargo slots and it holds a lot of cargo, but it has a really long frame, and you can only use it in some jobs. There's a lot of tasks where you can't use it, where the roads curve and they're really narrow and there's just no room to maneuver, and you can't use this truck. You got to use one with a shorter frame. So when the opportunity presents itself for me to be able to use the TwinSteer with the 4 cargo slots, I'm going to give it a shot. And it's going to be a tough go here. Got a couple of really scary moments, but we should be okay if we just take our time and use a little bit of common sense. Try not to go too fast. Just take it slow when you go off-road. Now, here, the fuel station's right here, and as you know, if you've been watching my videos, the OpenFed does not like to bypass a fuel station if he can help it. We're not sure how long it's going to take to get there, or what kind of trouble we're going to get into. So, we're going to fuel up, push the time ahead so that we can see a little bit better, and off we go. Now, while we're on the paved road, it's not too much of a problem, but that's going to come to an end abruptly, right up here, as we're not even going to make it to the warehouse, which is that building that you can see right in front of you. We're going to go off-road right here, which is always an adventure. Now, this particular road I haven't used a lot, so I'm not really that familiar with it, which is amazing, seeing as how we're almost at the end of the Almaty region. But the number 2 damage section of conveyor belt for the silver quarry is the easiest and shortest route to access it. So now when you have some of these here tasks, they have 2 drop-off appointments. Like with this damage section, you can drop off your cargo on this side of the break or on the other side of the break, whichever one you want. And it'll be represented by the little black arrows in the yellow diamonds. If there's 1 block off or drop off spot, there'll be 1, and if there's 2 drop off spots, then you'll end up getting 2, as we will see later on. There they are. Oh, you can already see them. There's 2 diamonds there up on the screen. Anyhow, we're on this side, which, ooh, a little bit of damage there. Now we're going slow and we're taking it easy. I put it into the high range of the low gear on purpose the whole way, because this is a difficult road. Maybe not for the Kenworth or the Plaid, but for the TwinSteer it's a difficult road. And we'd like to be able to deliver our cargo in one shot without any real issues or problems. And I think we're going to have enough trouble as it is, as we're going through this rocky area. We got to try and keep the truck as level as possible, because that's where I think our biggest problem is going to be, is keeping it level and not tipping sideways. So having said that, It's not too bad in most areas here, but there's a few little corners. I think there's one coming up that's really difficult. And you got to make sure, you got to be aware that to take these corners extra wide because of the off track. If the front of your truck is barely staying on the track while the back end of your truck is scraping up against the hill. But that's what you got to do. And, oh, see, if your back of your truck goes up on the hill, it's going to push you over to the left. So you got to be careful. And there again, if you go a little bit too fast, you happen to hit a rock that's a little bit too big on the wrong side of your truck, it could push you over that tipping point. So going slow also helps that from happening, because you can catch it before it actually happens. See, now this here twisty turn is a little tight too, but with a slower speed, steady hand on the wheel, the TwinSteer should, oh boy, I tell you, that was a close one. That was a really close one. We're not far away, we're getting pretty close, so this was not a long trip to finish this job, but a necessary one, because this is the stage that we got to perform now. So as we're coming through this little watery mud hole, we're getting close to where we got it delivered. I think there's one more spot coming up that's a little dicey, and you really got to hold on to the side of the couch to make sure that it doesn't flip over. But we managed to get it through, which is the amazing part, which is always fantastic. I love getting the job done and finishing it. It's a real great sense of accomplishment when you finally do finish it and deliver your cargo. And what a job this is. Beautiful truck, beautiful game, and beautiful weather too at the same time. How can you lose? Now as we're coming around the corner here, that one particular problem area that I was telling you about is coming up here with the rocks. Now the good thing when you're going through a little area as we're coming up through here, and the truck will tilt to the right, but if you stay close enough to those rocks, he really doesn't have anywhere that he can fall, because he's just going to lodge himself up against the rocks if he does fall over. Now we do have a little bit of trouble here. Oh, but we keep it moving and get the front end around, and then we just got to pull the back end of the truck around. And we do eventually get it around, and we end up delivering the material all safe and sound. Awesome job. Absolutely fantastic. I hope you liked this video. I hope you enjoyed watching and maybe got some tips out of it. Anyhow, until we see you again at OpenFed Gaming, you've been driving in a Western Star 6900 TwinSteer, delivering metal beams with me, the OpenFed.